look at the book of Esther. So we're looking at the book of Esther. So I'll just go back a little bit. When we saw in the book of Ezra that King Cyrus, he said the people can go back to their nations. As we remember, Judah was conquered by Babylon, and they were taken into captivity to Babylon. But when the Persian Empire overthrew Babylon, King Cyrus said all the people can go back to their nations and go and build their temples and pray to their gods for him. So out of all the people that went into captivity, not everyone decided to go back, because they've been in captivity for 70 years, so it's a very long time. Most of the people that have been taken captive have died. These are people that were born in Babylon. They have businesses, they have their grandchildren, they have everything there. So to go back to Jerusalem, to go and start afresh, to rebuild everything afresh was not easy. So not everybody chose to go back. So in the book of Esther that we're going to see today, it focuses on the Israelites that did not go back. So they remained in Persia because they chose to stay. They were not forced to go, and they could stay if they wanted to, because even when they were in captivity, they were free. They were not in chains, they were not slaves, so they chose to stay. So in the book of Esther, the king, King Xerxes, we don't know who wrote the book of Esther. Some say it was written by Mordecai, some say it was written by Ezra, but we're not sure. So, and the name Esther means star. That's the meaning of the name Esther, star. So the king, Xerxes, it begins by him throwing a party. And this party lasts for 6 months, 180 days. Now King Xerxes is a very wealthy king, and he conquered a lot of nations. So he has 127 provinces under him. His nation ranges from Ethiopia all the way to India. 127 provinces, and he is the king, so he's very wealthy. So he wants to show off his wealth, he wants to show off his strength, he wants to show everything off to all the other kings and princes of other nations. So he throws a party which lasts for 6 months. There's food, there's wine, anything they want, they can have. So people are eating, they are drinking, and he's boasting about his wealth, he's boasting about his achievements, he's telling them about everything, and he's planning to go to fight a war against Greece. So that was the latest plan he was having. So he was telling all these people that came. So after this feast, which lasted 6 months, he now chose to do another party for 1 week, 7 days, for the people that lives in Susa, the capital, where he is living. So he chooses to do a party so everyone in Susa can come, both from the rich to the poor. He invited everyone. So it was during these 7 days, he now decides that he wants to show off his wife Vashti, because Vashti is a very beautiful queen. So he wants to show her off to his guests. So he sends 7 of his eunuchs, his servants, that go and call Queen Vashti to come and parade her beauty before my guests. Now Queen Vashti also is throwing a party in her quarters for the women. So, but anyway, she tells the eunuchs that, tell the king that I'm not coming. So we don't know why she refused. Maybe because she's throwing her own party, or because she does not want to go and parade in front of drunken men, because they've all drunk, you know. She says she's not coming. So they go and tell the king that Queen Vashti said she's not coming. He gets very enraged. He's embarrassed. You know, there's all these people, he's boasting about his wealth and his strength. And here is a woman saying that she's not coming. So he whispers to his aide, Memucan, what should I do? Memucan says, my king, this is serious. If this gets out, you are going to be a laughing stock. The whole world is going to hear about this. You need to make a law now and say that every man should be the master of his own home. Whatever he says to his wife, the wife has to obey. And you know, Queen Vashti, you have to banish her. She cannot be queen anymore. Remove her from the throne. So the king passes the law. He uses his signet ring and he passes the law. And there is a law about the Medes and the Persians that whenever they make a law, it cannot be overturned. If you remember in the book of Daniel, when the men went to the king and said, make a law that nobody should worship any god or any man except you for 30 days. And if they do, they will be cast into the lion's den. The king made the law, and then when Daniel was found, he was trying to save Daniel because he loved Daniel from the lion's den. And then these men came and said, remember, O king, the law of the Medes and the Persians, it cannot be changed. It cannot be overturned. Once it's made, it's made. Not even the king can change it. So the king was sad, and you know the story of Daniel. So that's the law of the Medes and the Persians, that cannot be changed. So once he has removed Vashti, he cannot take her back. He wakes up in the morning, he's sober. He looks for his beautiful queen, and then he remembers, what have I done? His servant tells him, remember, O king, the law of the Medes and the Persians, it cannot be changed. You have banished her. You cannot take her back. So what we will do now, we will find you a queen, a replacement. We will make her the announcement, and you can get another queen. So the king says, okay. So now all the young virgins around the nations, around his provinces, they are all gathered, and they all come into the palace. Among these young ladies is Esther. Esther is a Jew. She's an orphan. Her mom and dad have died. The Midrash, the Jewish Midrash says her mom died when she was giving birth to her, and afterwards her dad died. She was raised up by her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai, I think, is the dad's brother. He raised her up. Mordecai tells Esther, do not let the king know, do not let anybody know that you are a Jew. Just keep it. Her Jewish name is Hadassah. He said, don't tell them your name is Hadassah. Your name is Esther. Esther is like a good Persian name. So your name is Esther. Don't let them know that you are a Jew. So Esther enters the palace with all these other young ladies. Esther finds favor with everybody in the palace. They all love her. The head of the eunuchs, Haggai, who is in charge of the ladies, he loves Esther. He gives her a good room. He gives her more food. He gives her, good maids. He looks after her. You know how Joseph had favor, how Daniel had favor in foreign lands. Esther had favor before these people, looking after all the girls. And so they all have to go through beauty treatments for a year. So they go through all these beauty treatments, and then when it's time, they're going to see the king. And then after they see the king, they're taken to another part of the palace where they stay. If the king likes them, they can be called back in to see him again. Otherwise, they stay there. They become one of his concubines. It's not known that these girls actually leave the palace again. So I think they're just there as a concubine of the king. So when it was time for Esther to be called in, she has to now go and choose what she likes. There's this big wardrobe. The girls go in there, they choose what they like, and they take it in with them to see the king, and they keep whatever they choose. So Esther's turn, she goes in, there's all this wealth, clothes, jewelry, everything, for her to choose anything she likes, and then she can go and see the king. But she asks Haggai, the head eunuch, you know the king very well. You know what he likes. You choose for me. What do you think the king will like? So Haggai chooses for her. The king will like this. The king will like this. Esther puts it on. She goes before the king, and she finds favor before the king, and the king selects her as his queen. So that's how a Jewish girl becomes the queen of Persia, a heathen nation. Now, between Queen Vashti being banished and Esther being queen, it's about 4 years, 4 or 5 years. So it's not immediately, because before he saw all these other girls. And then we now hear that Mordecai, because he always sits at the gate, he overhears a plot to kill the king. Two of the king's guards, Bigthan and Teresh, they were plotting that they're going to kill the king. And Mordecai overhears this plot. So he goes and he tells Queen Esther, there's a plot to kill the king. Make sure you let him know. Make sure you tell him. So Esther tells the king, Bigthan and Teresh are plotting to kill you. Mordecai told me. The king investigates, he finds out it is true, and he kills Bigthan and Teresh, and it is written down in the book of Chronicles, how Mordecai saved the life of the king. And then shortly after this, Haman is now promoted to be prime minister of Persia. We don't know what Haman did. We don't know how he got to that position. The Bible does not say, but he's promoted and he becomes prime minister. Now, if we go back a bit, if we remember in 1 Samuel chapter 15, God instructs King Saul to go and kill the Amalekites, wipe out all the Amalekites, men, women, children, everybody, even their animals. But King Saul, he saves the king, King Agag, and he saves some animals that he wants to use them for sacrifice. And God tells Samuel, the prophet, I regret making Saul king. He has not obeyed my instructions. So Samuel goes and he sees the animals and says, what are these? And he said, I saved this for sacrifice. And Samuel says, obedience is better than sacrifice. You have not obeyed God. And because of what you have done, your kingdom has been taken away from you and given to another. Now, what the Jewish Midrash says is that when the king was saved by Saul, King Saul, because he's a king, he was still treated with dignity, with honor, with respect by the Israelites who captured him. They gave him wine, they gave him food, they gave him everything. And they say they gave him a concubine that night. That king, you cannot sleep alone as a king. So they said they gave him a concubine. And that night, the concubine got pregnant, but they didn't know. So the next day, Prophet Samuel killed the king. So he followed that God's instructions, not knowing that a seed had already been planted in a woman by this king Agag. So Haman came from this king Agag. So from generation to generation, down the line, about 50 years, now comes Haman, which if King Saul had carried out God's instructions, Haman would not have come about. Which is why we need to obey God to the letter, because Song of Solomon says the little foxes, they kill the vine. Just a little thing we will leave behind. We don't know where it will end. So here comes Haman. He becomes prime minister. And the king gives orders. Everyone should bow before Haman. Mordecai refuses to bow. When they ask Mordecai, why do you bow before Haman? He says, I'm a Jew. So maybe because Mordecai feels I'm not supposed to bow before a man, I'm only supposed to bow before Yahweh. We don't know. Or maybe because he knows Haman is an Amalekite, and God's instructions in Deuteronomy was to blot out the name of Amalekite completely. Maybe that's why he doesn't bow. We don't know. But I remember the first time I met my brother-in-law, my husband's brother in Ghana. I knelt down 2 legs to say hello to him. And he told me that you don't kneel down before a man, you only kneel before God. And my husband said, yeah, that's Nigerian culture. That's what they do. And my brother-in-law said, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So after that, whenever I see him, I stretch my hand and shake him. And he's happy with that. He said, don't kneel before me. I'm not a God. So I think in that way, Mordecai also felt, I cannot kneel before a man. I can only kneel before God. So because of this, Haman now plots that he will not only kill Mordecai, He will kill all the Jews. He's going to wipe all of them out because of what Mordecai has refused to do. So he goes to the king and he tells the king, "Oh king, your majesty, there are some people in this land, some certain people. They refuse to obey your laws. They will refuse to pay tax. Let's kill them. Otherwise they will come, they will form a coup, they will overthrow you one day. These people, they refuse to obey the laws of the land and they are living here. I will put money in your account. Give me the instruction to kill the people." And the king just says, "Keep your money, take my ring, go and do whatever you like with them." So Haman, he now throws a dice. He casts a lot, either dice or card, to select the day that all the Jews will be killed. So that's called pure, P-U-R, pure. That's the lot. So he casts the lot and it falls on the 13th of Adar, that month, Jewish calendar month, on the 13th of Adar, which is March, our March. So that's the date that the Lord chose to kill the Jews. And then he now writes the decree that on the 13th day of Adar, all the Jews are going to be wiped out. They are all going to be killed. Women, children, men, every single one of them. And these letters are sent to all the Jews in all the provinces. And as I said, it's 127 provinces, so it's really vast. It's like, the world really at that time. So the Jews receive these letters and they are perplexed, wondering, what have we done? Why is this decree gone out for us to be killed? Why didn't we go back to Jerusalem when King Cyrus said we shall go? We stayed here and now we're going to be killed. And the law of the Medes and the Persians, it cannot be changed. It cannot be overthrown. Once it's made, it's made. So wherever all the Jews are, there was crying. They put ash on their head, sackcloth. They were weeping, wondering what is going on. Haman and the king were feasting. Mordecai also hears the decree. He puts ash on his head, sackcloth. He's wailing, he's crying. He went to the city. He cannot enter into the palace. When you are in sackcloth, you can't enter into the palace. He sat at the gate. He was crying. Esther hears that her cousin is crying and is wearing sackcloth. So she sends a cloth through her maids. Go and give it to him. Tell him to change so he can come inside. Mordecai tells them to tell him that he's not going to wear the cloth. He won't wear it. She sends message back again. What is the matter? My cousin, what's going on? And she says, you haven't heard the law. There is a decree that all the Jews are going to be killed. Please, you need to go and see the king and beg him for us. See if you can change it. You need to help us. And Esther sends a message back and says, the palace is not like outside. Outside there, you just go to your friend's house. No invitation. You just walk in and sit down. The palace is not like that. Here, if the king does not summon for you and you go and see him, you will be killed. Even see, I'm in the palace 30 days. He hasn't called for me. He hasn't sent for me. I haven't seen him. And I'm his wife. I can't just go like that. No, I can't go. And then Mordecai sends message back. He says, listen to yourself. Have you heard yourself? Do you think you'll be exempt because you are the queen? You are deceiving yourself. You will not be exempt. You are a Jew. Both you and your father's house will all be perished. Even you will be the first they will kill. And another deliverer will be raised for us. And who knows? Maybe it's because of this. You are in the palace at a time like this. And you are telling me that there is protocol. You cannot go and see the king. So Esther sends message back and says, okay, gather all the Jews and let them fast 3 days. No food, no water. I also will fast with my maids. No food, no water. And on the 3rd day, I will go and see the king. And if I perish, I perish. So on the 3rd day, Esther goes. She starts going towards the king's quarters. She doesn't know what's going to happen. The king has not summoned her. Ordinary dance, Vashti did not dance. She was banished. I'm breaking the law. So that means automatic killing. What's going to happen to me? She goes. The king sees her coming. He smiles. He stretches forth his scepter. That means she has found favor. She rushes, she touches it. The king says, my beautiful queen. Oh, my beautiful darling. What do you want?
Hallelujah.
What is your request?
Amen.
Ask me. Up to half my kingdom, I will give it to you. She says, my king, I want to invite you and Haman to a feast in my quarters this afternoon. Then I will tell you my request. The king says, okay, Haman, you have heard the queen, we shall be there. Esther rushes off. She gathers her housemates, her cooks, her chef, everybody, they make a feast. The king and Haman go to the queen's quarters for the feast. They are there, they are eating, they are drinking. The king again asks Esther, what do you want? I will give it to you up to half my kingdom. At that time, it's common for kings to say this. If you remember, Herod, when Salome danced, and he said, what do you want? Up to half my kingdom. Yeah, and the mom said, the head of John the Baptist. And he had to do it. So it's a common thing for them to promise that. So Esther says, okay, your highness, you come again tomorrow. You and Haman. And tomorrow I will tell you my request. Come tomorrow. They say, okay, they will come. Haman gets up. He walks out of the palace. He's happy. He's just had dinner with the king and queen. People outside are bowing before him. They are rushing. They are bowing before him, except Mordecai. Mordecai stands there. He refuses to bow. Haman is furious. He takes a step towards Mordecai. Says, oh, this man. Okay, I will know what to do. He goes home. He calls his friends. He calls his wife Zeresh. He starts boasting about his wealth. He starts boasting about his achievements. Look at me. I'm the second in command in this city. I've just had a feast with the king and queen, and I've been invited back tomorrow. I have 10 sons. I have wealth. I have cars. I have land. But in all of this, I am not happy because Mordecai will not bow before me. What should I do? What can I do about this man? He's making my life miserable. And then the friend says, what's wrong with you? Are you not the second in command? Has the king ever refused you anything? He said, no. He said, there you go then. Go and build gallows in your backyard there. And then go to the king in the morning and ask for permission to hang Mordecai on it. And you get rid of him once and for all. That's all. So the advice, please, Haman. He said, yeah, that's a good advice. Okay, friends, you can go home. He went to his backyard. He built the gallows, high gallows. He looked at it, he said, yes, Mordecai, tomorrow you are going to put hands on these gallows. Amen. So everybody will learn the lesson. They will know that, yes, I am Haman. When I am coming, they will bow before me. He goes to bed. But that night, the king cannot sleep. Haman is sleeping. The king cannot sleep. He is turning, tossing, turning. Then he calls his servant to come and read the Chronicles. Whenever the king cannot sleep, they get the book of Chronicles, they start reading it to the king until he falls back asleep. Because it's kind of like a dull and boring book. So the servant starts reading the book of Chronicles to the king. This king and that king, they had a war, and that one fell off the horse, and there was no food. And then Bigtan and Teresh plotted to kill the king, and Mordecai heard about it and told Queen Esther, stop, read that again. So he reads it again. And then the king asks, what reward was given to Mordecai? What was done for him? He saved my life. What was done for him? And they said, nothing. Nothing? No. He saved my life. We need to do something. Okay, you can go back to bed. And then in the morning, Haman wakes up early. He's gone to the palace to ask for permission to hang Mordecai. The king also is up early. He's in the inner quarters with one of his servants. And then Haman is pacing up and down outside. The king asks the servant, who is out there? He said, it's Haman. Haman, good. Call him to come in. So Haman goes in. He wants to ask the permission. The king also starts talking at the same time. What should I do for the man whom I want to honor? And immediately Haman thinks, that man's got to be me. I am the prime minister, the second in command. I had a feast with the king and queen yesterday. I'm coming again for another feast. Who else is more important in this town? It's got to be me. He says, yes, your highness, I know what you can do. Take your royal gown that you have worn, put it on the person. Your chain, gold chain, put it around the neck. The horse that you have ridden before in public, let the person sit on it. Put your crest, your royal crest on the head of the horse. And let a trusted official go before the horse and start proclaiming to everybody. This is what the king does to the man whom he wants to honor. This is what the king does to the man whom he wants to honor. This is what the king does to the man whom all over the city. You should do that. The king says, splendid, wonderful. Go and do everything that you have said for Mordecai. Haman thinks, what? For Mordecai? But he dare not say no. If not, he will be killed. He says, okay, your highness. He goes to fetch Mordecai at the gate. He wears the gown for Mordecai. He carries Mordecai onto the horse. And then he starts saying, this is what the king does to the man whom he wants to honor. This is what the king all over the city. He makes a complete fool of himself. People are looking at him. This is the prime minister on the floor. This is Mordecai on the horse. Something is wrong here. When he finishes, he takes Mordecai back to the gate. He takes a cloth, he covers his face with shame. He runs home. He gets home, he calls his friends, he calls his wife. You won't believe what happened to me today. You won't believe what happened. The friends said, hey, did the king give you permission to hang Mordecai? They said, what permission? I didn't even ask. And then he now told them all what happened. The friends is like this. The wife is like this. You went through all of this. Then the wife says, if that man is of Jewish descent, you won't prevail over him. You better give up this vendetta. You have already begun to fall in front of him. Just give it up right now and forget about it. He hasn't recovered. There's a knock at the door. 2 guards have arrived from the palace. The feast is ready. He must come immediately to come to the feast. He cannot tell them that he's no more in the mood to go to feast. He has to go because he's the king and queen. He goes to the feast. They start drinking. They are relaxing. He says, okay, I will wait. When the king is drunk, I will ask permission to still hang Mordecai. When he was drunk, he sent Vashti away. I will wait. So the king asked Esther again, what is it you want? Up to half my kingdom. I will give it to you. Then Esther begins to speak. My lord, if I have found favor before you, if you love me, please save me and my people. Save us from certain death. A decree has gone out to kill all of us. Women, children, men, all of us. If the decree said we should only be taken as slaves, I wouldn't have troubled you. We can be slaves. But he said we should die. Please save us. The king looks at her. Who has made this decree? Who is the person? Tell me who the person is. Esther looks at Haman. The chicken in Haman's mouth falls down. Cannot eat again. And she points at him. Said, this evil man. He is the one who made that decree. The king looks at Haman. What is this you have done? He gets up. He goes out to the garden to go and cool down. He has just found out his wife is a Jew. And he has also found out all of them are going to be killed. Why didn't I ask Haman who these certain people are? Because if you remember in chapter 3, he said some certain people. He did not say the Jews. If he had said the Jews, then the king would know. It was very, very tricky. He said some certain people. Why didn't I find out who these certain people are? Why did I trust him? Why did I give him my signet ring? And the law of the Medes and the Persians, it cannot be overturned. What do I do now? Meanwhile, inside the palace, Haman is begging for his life. He's holding the queen. Beg your husband for me. Please help me. Speak to him. He will listen to you. He's going to kill me. Esther is trying to get away. Haman is begging for his life. So he is holding on tight. As Esther is trying to get up, Haman falls on top of her. The king enters at that time and he misjudges the situation. And the king shouts, "Ah! You want to sleep with my wife?" Here in the palace. The two guys who are outside the door, they hear the king shout. They rush in. They grab hold of Haman. The king says, "Take him away. Get him out of my sight. I will think of what to do with him later." One of the guards then tells the king, "Last night he built gallows in his back garden to hang Mordecai." The king says, "Go and hang him on it. Go and hang him on the gallows." That was how Haman was hanged on the gallows that he prepared for Mordecai. The queen now tells the king her relationship with Mordecai, and then so Mordecai became the prime minister. He gets promoted, and Esther said, "Oh my lord, what are we still going to do about the decree? It is still there, and it cannot be overturned." The king says, "Okay." He gives Mordecai his signet ring, says, "Write another decree." That decree cannot be changed, cannot be turned. Not even the king can turn it. But write another decree that will favor your people. So Mordecai writes another decree saying that on that day, the Jews should fight back. They should arm themselves and they should fight. Whereas before, they just have to sit and wait to be killed. Now they should fight back. So this new decree is sent to everybody in the province. Even some of the Persians are scared when they heard this new decree. Some of them become Jews, that this is serious. The first decree has not been changed, but it has, in a way, been changed. So they become, on that day, some of the Persians get up, let's go and kill the Jews. There's a decree, you can go and kill the Jews. The Jews were waiting for them. The Jews pursued all of them and killed all of them. Amen. There was nobody left. The king now asked Esther, "What else do you want?" Even among those who were killed were the 10 sons of Haman. He says, "I want the 10 sons to be hanged. And tomorrow also I want us to kill the enemies of the Jews." So the king grants the request. Because it's not unknown in those days, even when someone is killed, for them to hang the dead body as like a humiliation, embarrassment. If you remember King Saul and Jonathan, after they had been killed in the battle, the Philistines now hang their bodies before the men of Jabesh went to take the bodies down and bury them, give them a proper, because this is a king, and David rewarded the people of Jabesh for what they did. And also here in England, the Lord Protector, Olive, somebody, I can't remember his name, he also, when he died, his head was cut off and he was put on the pole so that people can see and say, yeah, it's like to disgrace someone, even though they are dead. So she said she wants the 10 sons to be hanged, even though they are dead. So they were hanged, and the next day also they killed a lot of enemies of the Jews. And Haman's property were given to Esther, and she gave them to Mordecai to run it, to take control of it. And then Mordecai announces that there will now be a feast of Purim. So that Purim is the lot that was cast to decide that this is the day the Jews will be killed. So even till today, the Jews observe that festival, and they observe it over 2 days. It's normally in March, and they do it, and they all gather at the synagogue, and the whole book of Esther is read, and the congregation are encouraged to participate. So when they are reading the book of Esther, when they mention the name of Esther, the people cheer, woo, 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 woo. When they mention the name of Mordecai, the people cheer, woo, 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 woo. When they mention the name of Haman, the people boo, hiss, they make a lot of noise. They don't want to hear the name of Haman. And then they eat and they drink and they give food to the poor. And in the final chapter, chapter 10, it talks about the king, and he still carried on as being a king. People were paying taxes, and Mordecai was respected by everyone in the land of Persia, as the prime minister. He looked after his people, the Jews, and that's the book of Esther. So as we can see, we have to obey God fully when he asks us to do something, and also when we are praying and we feel like it seems like God is not listening, he's silent, he's not silent, he's working behind the scenes. Because in the book of Esther, we can see God's name is not mentioned at all, but he's there. He's working everything from Queen Vashti refusing to come out. All was God's. Yeah, because if she had come out, Esther wouldn't have been there. Yeah, and they would all have been killed because Vashti wouldn't have saved the Jews. She's a Persian woman. So throughout the book of Esther, we can see God there. And Saul also, if he had killed that king, Haman wouldn't have come about to come and try and kill all of them. So the lesson is whenever God says do something, we should do it. We should not add our own bit. We should not be disobedient. God bless you.
Hallelujah. Amen. Can you give a cup of offering again? Hallelujah. That is wonderful. Something that we have to learn from. It's very, very important. Humbleness and faithfulness will bring the hand of the Lord unto us. Amen. So don't add yours to what God said. What God said, you have to fulfill it. Amen.
Amen.
Shall we be on our feet?